What is going on, guys? This is Bradley alongside Zach, and you are listening to the Charm City Sideline Podcast. Tonight, we are going live just 24 hours after that, not even 24 hours after that Ravens brutal loss to the Detroit Lions. Definitely not a fun one last night, Zach. Sort of a situation where you look back at the Bills game and they just beat themselves. And last night, a lot of issues that we're going to discuss tonight. But how you doing, Zach?
Yeah, you can tell by Brad's mellow voice he is not coping well with this loss. I don't know. I've turned it around. I've heard a lot of good things. It feels like most people that I've heard talk about it, who I really respect their opinions, obviously, have said it's week 3. And you have a juggernaut of a schedule, and the Ravens just don't figure stuff out early on. Let them continue to grow. Let them continue to blossom, figure stuff out, and it's going to iron itself out and become the team that we hope it is. It just sucks you can't do it against the top of the league right now. If this was later on in the year, we've seen it before, where the Ravens do beat top talented teams and handedly even, but man, you caught us at a bad time, and the national media is all over us, and you're heading into the game of the week next week. Oh man, it could be a total avalanche, I guess, here for the Ravens.
Yeah, if the Ravens were to lose next week, I mean, how do we feel now? How are we going to feel a week from today? This loss felt pretty similar to the Eagles' loss last year when the Ravens just kind of got outplayed. But even that loss last year, the defense didn't even remotely get close to getting ran off the field. I feel like that was sort of the offense kind of not playing that well against Philly that night. So let's get into our first topic of the night, Zach. And it's sort of talking about the identity of the Ravens, right? All good teams have an identity. The Ravens' identity has been defense and also a run game. In the past couple weeks, it's been no run game, no defense, all passing the ball. And, that's sort of where we'll start here. Like, how do you feel about the Ravens, I guess, having an identity problem right now?
Yeah, that's like a real question. The identity that really this topic comes from Pat McAfee show. I watched it earlier, and they brought up a topic that the Ravens' identity has been with the defense. I think this is the biggest probably media attention the defense has gotten specifically for the Ravens while Lamar has been here. It's almost just been overshadowed. This time is the first time where it's like Ravens have scored 30, 40, 40, 111 points. Is that right? How many points?
In 3 games, yeah.
In 3 games, 111. So if that's the question, something's wrong. Like there's another level to it because the defense has been what Baltimore prides itself on. And when you get someone like Lamar Jackson, you would think they're going to be successful. They have. And this is the first time where we are smacked in the mouth early on. And last in points allowed, I think we're tied with the Dolphins, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't really have an answer besides us being patient, which blows to think about. Last year, the Ravens got going eventually, but how many times do you let that happen? When is okay, we need to let someone else take the reins at DC, calling the defense? And when is that point? What if we don't trade for some guy before the deadline or sign some name that we're all happy with? It's almost to that real tipping point. Last night I was overreacting for sure, but today there is still a serious like couple more steps before it becomes as ugly as Ravens fans are making it seem right now, including myself.
I'm not gonna lie, Zach. Like, I really don't think we were overreacting last night. Like, that was a really bad game.
Okay, I overreacted about the offensive line. I thought they didn't do good at all run blocking wise, besides that one Henry play. But I think passing wise, they did all right, and Lamar just got sacked on a few.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'll know. But go ahead.
Yeah, and we'll get into that, but, like, the whole Zach Orr thing, like, we just, obviously Ravens Collective just ended, and Jeff Zrebeck was talking about Zach Orr, and
Jeff.
basically it falls on one guy. Like, you can blame anyone you want, but there's a leader of that unit, and that is Zach Orr right now. And if the Ravens defense was top 5 all year last year, we probably wouldn't be talking about Zach Orr already.
True.
This is because of what happened last year, leading into 2 out of the first 3 games this year, and the one game the defense played well, you were maybe playing against the worst offense in the NFL. So that is definitely something to monitor and sort of think about. You know, if John Harbaugh is sort of thinking about his job, maybe, is he going to consider, you know, making a change at defensive coordinator to help this team play better, maybe win more playoff games, whatever, who knows. But I definitely think that is something to think about. Let's also take a step back here. It was the very first game, because both of them are going to be out for a few weeks. It was the first game without Van Noy and Matabike. So that's going to be tough to overcome. Van Noy is probably our best run defending edge, and Matabike is our just best defensive lineman at everything. So losing those guys suck. You know, I was big on the Matabike loss. Like, I was down in the dumps more than a lot of people were. I don't think I thought about losing Van Noy as much as I should have. Both of those together are massive right now.
That kind of takes us in really the next topic about how much do we blame injuries? Nate here commenting, we can't keep blaming Gabe's on injuries. It absolutely sucks. But the Ravens of the past 2 years have been very blessed with not having major injury, causes. And this is the first time where we start out with them. And you, in general, just can't expect the Ravens to be fully healthy every single year. And in a way that you lose 2 people on the defensive line that are as important as Matabike and Kyle Van Noy, you would hope the team is like, next man up. Hey, we got depth. Maybe they do that well. But when you're missing your sack leader, you're missing the $100 million man, it's hard to overcome against the team that's just genuinely very well put together on all ends. So I don't want to blame injuries, but it's hard to do that and not see the complete mess and loss that you see with Matabike, Kyle Van Noy, and we haven't even mentioned the offensive injuries.
Yeah. Couple new comments here. One from Nick. I get we played the Lions without many key players, but you cannot allow 38 points to whoever at home during prime time, no matter what team.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, it's a terrible defensive performance. Like, we talked about not blaming the secondary, which I still do agree with, 24 hours removed in terms of the pass game. But I think you can blame the secondary in the run game. Like, they still weren't making tackles. Like, we talked about Malachi Starks missing the tackle on Montgomery's long run. Kyle Hamilton's, what was his PFF grade? 26 or something like that. I mean, very uncharacteristic game from Kyle Hamilton. So those are 2 guys that I don't think played particularly well. Humphrey obviously didn't play well. So it's kind of blaming the whole entire defense. Obviously, Roquan Smith played poorly again. I mean, that game against the Browns last week was one of his few great games since the beginning of 2023, to be honest. And there was another comment from Brud. This is why it's important to win when your window's open. I'll sort of pose this to you, Zach. Like, the Ravens, and we've talked about how they're wasting Lamar's career, blah, 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 blah. 2019 and 2023, they were definitely the best team in the league both of those 2 years. Like, they should have 2 rings already in the Lamar era. And then you look at last year, I wouldn't say they were the best team in the league last year. They were definitely the best team in the AFC last year. And, weren't even able to get close to a Super Bowl. So I want to get your thoughts on that side of things as well.
Yeah, those 2 years, you would think that one of those, is a chance where
Exactly,
you
yeah.
get to that big
2
game.
1 seeds, 2 number 1 seeds.
You would think the odds of that plus the odds of maybe winning a Super Bowl are incredibly slim. But those 2 years, if you're a bona fide top 3 team, you would think the talent and the roster, all it needs is the right guys coaching them up, not even to an elite level. You would have to do almost a bad job to not get that loaded of a roster any worse than what they did, basically. So
Mhm.
you would think that 2 number 1 seeded teams would make it at least one time in that to the big game.
Yeah.
You get to the AFC Championship, which is an accomplishment, but you just know that that's where this team doesn't want to hang their hat on. So someone tweeted out last night that it's this weird pressure cooker of a feeling right now. Every win that we get is not an insane, we're not pumped up woo, we just won. It's never like that. It's like we won, we were supposed to. And if we lose, it's we lost and we need to blow up everything. So it's a rough situation because you've put so much pressure on a big game. So where you don't prove that you're capable of that big game, everyone starts to fall apart, I guess. And I really would summarize it to what Nate just said there. There's no longer a defensive identity. It's with the offense because of Lamar. And in a game where you couldn't pitch the perfect game that you'd been with the offense the last few seasons, really.
Yeah.
And the defense is just mauled. So you got beat up. You're going to have to learn from it. And this team can, absolutely. It's just rough start.
Yeah, the culture of this team right now, and I like what you said about how it feels after a win and how it feels after a loss. Like, you can almost equate it to, when you're playing fantasy football and you win your matchup, you almost don't even care. You're just you're still mad from watching your team not perform up to your standard when you're watching Red Zone and all that stuff. And then you win and you're just like, whatever, my team sucks anyway. But when you lose, you're pissed and it's terrible. And every week it's like, why do I play fantasy football? What am I doing?
No, we love fantasy football. Come on. And then it wraps around. We love the Ravens. It's the same thing, really.
Exactly. And it feels like that even from the players right now. It feels like that they don't care when they win, and when they lose, it's down in the dumps. And I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, think about if the Eagles were to lose a game, it would probably be the same thing. I still feel like the Eagles might be happier when they win a game. You have Jordan Davis running down the field, Nick Sirianni running around, getting everyone hyped. There's still a lot of excitement in Philly when they win a game. So granted, it was off a blocked field goal, but still, you guys get the point.
Yeah, Nate had a comment. I won in fantasy, but we lost last night. I didn't even feel good about this. I'm in the same boat, brother. Ashton had a comment that I want to bring up just as a conversation between you and me. Ashton said, "I'm so glad Humphrey just hopped on a podcast the next morning after we performed. Now we did."
Yeah,
I'm gonna be in the same boat, Ashton. That's what we're almost alluding to. What Brad just mentioned about the culture is not this serious. Let's get angry and take it into Chiefs week and how important of a game this is. Now we're mad we're not this team that we were all hoping to be. That is now summarized with he's going to get on social media and say, guys, hey, look forward to tomorrow, and that was a rough loss. We sucked, There's a difference between what Humphrey is saying and what a Hamilton, a Henry, a Lamar is saying. Lamar, Henry, Hamilton will go forward and say, I was bad tonight. I was a problem. That's where it starts. You have to be willing to say that you were the issue. In an 11-man team, you have to fix yourself before you can start pointing fingers. And Marlon Humphrey didn't do that. This is another situation of that. And I would say I'm very disappointed in him as a thorough fan of him, because I don't appreciate that kind of headspace. Sure, he did say he sucked as well, but I don't like it kind of salted down by this. Yeah, we all were really bad. Maybe that's a culture thing as well. I don't know.
I understand the Marlon Humphrey sentiment. Like, you have a terrible loss, get beat to shreds, and as a fan, you wake up the next morning and one of your best players on defense is recording a podcast. Like, that's not exactly what you want to see. Excuse me. And I know I saw a lot of tweets of Ravens fans sort of bashing him for that. At the same time, it's not like he's not playing with effort or anything like that. I mean, the David Montgomery long run.
Yeah, that was a heck of an effort.
That was Marlon Humphrey running, sprinting across the screen, passing other Ravens defensive backs to tackle him. The reason that's not being talked about is because the Lions still scored a touchdown on that drive. I mean, that was an insane effort play, and no one's talking about it. So just to play devil's advocate a little bit there.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Marlon Humphrey
that's a good point.
Is one of the highest effort players on this team, and I think in the NFL. And he does have this weird sense of humor about him. Like, he's obviously not happy, but he does give off humorous vibes a lot of the time.
True.
And that's just what watching his podcast is going to feel like, no matter how happy or sad he is. I will say, like, maybe post it the night after a game, not like 12 hours after the game ended. Like, if Marlon posted a podcast right now, it would feel a lot different than 8 a.m. the day after a game. So that's sort of how I feel about the whole situation. I don't think I care as much as the average Ravens fan about that whole issue, though.
Yeah, it's mostly about where we were talking about culture, and that all these Chiefs fans are also saying on Twitter, like, yeah, we're gonna face a really mad Ravens team. The only people that are mad are Derrick Henry and Lamar, it looks like. So the defense would have to take a major step in the direction we're hoping for, but it again seems a little early to call for that. So I'm worried about it. I hope we can right it in a ridiculous game Sunday. I can't wait to talk. We'll probably talk about that later this week. Like, someone commented score predictions. That might have been Nate. I don't remember. But someone asked about score predictions. That'll happen during the preview. But
yeah. And this is a Q&A episode, so that's why we're really, engaging with you guys in the chat right now. Feel free to comment any questions or opinions.
For sure.
Opinions you guys have. I saw a comment from Nate. The Ravens defense made Brady fear that his receivers would be injured. Now we have Cleveland saying they weren't worried about it. This changed in my lifetime. Yeah, man. I mean, Zach and I are both in our early 20s. We were obviously Ravens fans, like, when this Ravens defense was insane. And just what you mentioned, Tom Brady literally saying, you got to throw the ball in different spots because the Ravens defense is going to literally give my receivers concussions.
Hospital balls. Yeah.
And obviously the rules have changed a little bit, but like, another thing about the whole Marlon podcast that I understand is, like, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis would not be doing that. Like,
never. Yeah.
Like, there's no chance that they would ever be doing that. And like, what's interesting about the Ravens teams of the late 2000s, early 2010s is that the Patriots were, quote unquote, the Ravens' kryptonite because the Patriots were a better team than the Ravens were.
Yeah.
It wasn't because the Ravens just couldn't beat them. In fact, you could argue the Ravens were the Patriots' kryptonite. I mean, Joe Flacco beat Tom Brady twice in the playoffs in New England. Like, the Ravens don't. There's no
identity even
that is scared of them. I mean, Lions fans were scared of the Ravens before this game, but they're not going to be anymore. So now there's not really a team that's scared of the Ravens at all. Comment from Bro. What did you see out of Peebles yesterday? Aeneas Peebles is like a very talented pass rusher from the interior. There's a couple plays last night where he is spinning off the guard trying to block him in a second.
Yeah.
But either Goff was getting the ball out quick or he got blocked by a second guy. But Peoples is going to need to really step up in the pass rush department for sure if Madubuike is out long term. So we'll see how he is able to develop throughout this season. But yeah, man. Do you want to get into our third topic, Zach, or is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, to just kind of tag off the injuries, we haven't mentioned Likely and Ricard. They've been a subject of the conversations when talking about injuries, but man, that'll be a lift to have someone like Ricard back. I know Likely is important too, but gosh, you can see how badly we need him right now. And it's literally like having another all-pro offensive lineman on the team, and not having him is rough. Prime here. How do y'all feel about having 0 sacks last night? Brad, what do you think about that?
So, I've talked about the offensive line before we had a podcast and since we've had a podcast to you and our other friends in the Raven space. Since after the 2019 season, I've talked about the offensive line every single offseason. We're not doing enough. The pass rush, I've probably been doing that since 2015. We don't have enough pass rush every single offseason. You had Doomerville and Terrell Suggs, great duo. That was 11 years ago. Like, this is not going to cut it. And I understand probably our two best pass rushers were out last night, Zach, and Van Noy and Madubuike. Owe had 10 sacks last year. He's nowhere to be seen in the pass rush department.
Yep.
Mike Green's in his third career NFL game. He's nowhere to be seen in that department. So, they haven't made the signing for that guy. Packers traded for Micah Parsons. They just lost to the Browns. Their fans probably aren't happy right now either. But he clearly made a massive difference for their defense. So pass rush is an issue for me and has been for, I guess you could say, a decade.
Yeah, and McDonald's years, it just felt like whoever you put in there was going to get a pressure. And then last year, by the end of last year, it was like, our scheme can handle whoever it wants. I'm not to be mean, but Kyle Van Noy is not like an exceptional starting level edge on every NFL team. So for the Ravens case, if he's able to produce 12 and a half sacks, if you put in a superstar, what would they produce? You are truly missing the star player in that area. And I don't think there's really an answer. We'll talk about it later for a trade or a signing really to solve that problem. It's going to have to be through defensive play calling to adjust how they're getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. Should we get into this third topic?
Yep.
So there's been a lot of conversation about John Harbaugh.
Always.
After the Bills loss and after last night. Zach and I talked about this last night. I honestly can't even remember if we were recording or not when we talked about this, but
maybe not.
Harbaugh, I didn't talk about Harbaugh at all this offseason because, and I'll still stand by this, the playoff loss last year in Buffalo literally was not his fault at all. Like a head coach, maybe like a high school or a college head coach has a bit of control over ball control. You do all these drills, whatever.
Yeah.
Like Harbaugh can't control Mark Andrews dropping a 2-point conversion. Harbaugh can't control Lamar Jackson fumbling the ball in the second quarter. Like it wasn't his, like I was completely fine with Harbaugh all this offseason, but now we're turning into the Bengals with these slow starts. I'm starting to understand how terrible they felt every September. 1-2, 2 years in a row, 0-2 last year. And that's just another thing. We posted a clip today of me talking last night. Like you have this culture head coach who doesn't call plays on either side of the ball. And it's not just that. It also means, Zach, when you have a culture head coach who's a special teams guy, you can lose both coordinators. It's not like, for example, Sean McVay of the Rams. Yes, he loses his offensive coordinators, but it's his offense. When the Rams lose an offensive coordinator, it doesn't matter. The Rams, can lose a defensive coordinator, and that can hurt them a little bit. But they can only lose one coordinator. They can't lose both. Right now, the Ravens can lose Mike McDonald, and they can lose Todd Monken or Greg Roman, whatever you want to call it. So, like, there's two different – you can lose a big piece on both sides of the ball instead of just one side of the ball. And that is a big thing when you talk about having a head coach that doesn't really revolve around play calling. So that's another piece that goes into it. Another side is maybe, I mean, you probably just need a new face here. Like, it's just not working. So those are sort of all my thoughts that float around when I think about John Harbaugh and the current Ravens head coach that he is. We keep saying he's probably top 5, 6, 7 head coach in this league, and he'd be hired in an hour if he were to be fired. But sometimes you need a new leader. So,
yep, I'm gonna agree with you. Like, if you've been watching this podcast for a long time, I've been on the side of give Harbaugh a break, guys. Give Harbaugh a break, guys. Like, almost every bad situation I would. And this is the first time where it feels like it's not even, like we said last night, to mirror again what we said last night, it's not even that he is a bad coach. It's just almost that time for a change and a full pedal to the metal towards either making this offense as great as it can be or finding a full-blown defensive incredible mind that there are a few in the NFL. So it just hurts. There's a lot of stats. You've been hearing them all day. I was going to list them off. I don't want to. It burns. I'm with Prime here on the comment. I'm just at the point that Harbs is in a hot seat right now. I think it's real. And it's just getting to a very bad point in the season currently because of this. He can definitely turn it around, but it's all about how they either finish or how they continue right now in a tough stretch.
Zach, what do you think, like, Steve Bisciotti is thinking about? Like, he's the owner of this team. He's one of those owners that really wants to win. He's on the field for every game. What do you think sort of going through his head right now? And I feel like the past couple years, like, he's obviously close with John, but he also is the owner of a football team who has one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, who's going to be 29 years old next season. Like, what do you think's going through his mind?
Whenever we were calling for Harbaugh's head, as of, week 1, the video of an interview where I think it was in the offseason, Harbaugh and Scotty are sitting there together in an interview for, I believe, the Ravens pod. And I think it's the lounge. And that conversation shows you that it's just so family-like. Like, I'm sure Bisciotti is giving Harbaugh as much leeway as possible. So the topic that we wanted to talk about was how long of a leash does Harbaugh have?
Yeah.
And that is where you see probably Bisciotti has about as long of a leash as possible. It's just, it is shortened a lot in 3 weeks into the season. If anything, they would never do him dirty. It's not like I don't think they would fire him mid-year by any means. They would probably say, we'd like to, promote you to higher position, whatever. They like to take care of those guys. But I'm with the fan base committee of, we are almost to that point where we need a new face. If you can't get it done this year, which as of right now is a lot to ask, then it's probably around that time. And I think the leash is, if it was a 10-foot leash, beginning of the year, especially after that extension, it's probably like a 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah. And like, they would not, I don't even think they would fire him at all. I think Harbaugh would say he's retiring, or he'd probably still say he's retiring. They'd move him to a vice president, whatever type of role, unless he still has that fire to be a head coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, if the Ravens were 3-0 right now, if they were 3-0, I would still have the opinion that they should get rid of him if they don't make it to the Super Bowl. So the fact that they're 1-2, I mean, it doesn't change because I still would never. I mean, I don't even think it'd be
You're in that
rational.
special category though. Like you're seeing that if it was 3-0, these conversations wouldn't be happening. If it's 1-2, like it is, then now the whole media, now national media is agreeing with you.
Yeah.
The fan base is now agreeing with you. It's a
Mhm.
whole different level of discussion
Yeah.
compared to where you're probably correct. If we were 3-0, you specifically you're asking for, and I'm sure there's a couple guys in the fan base too that would ask for a fully one-way guy, even though we do think Harbaugh is a very capable coach in the NFL.
Like, Mike McDonald was in the building, and he is a defensive mastermind, and you would still be running his defense. Todd Monken would still be here. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Maybe.
it's just counterproductive to have a head coach that doesn't do one of those two things. Like, to be my own devil's advocate, Dan Campbell with Detroit, he's not a big time. I mean, he's an offensive guy. He was a tight ends coach, but I think I think that was Ben Johnson's offense. I don't think it was Dan Campbell's offense.
Yeah.
So there's an example of, I mean, they can have a super high floor, but there's just these things you think about where these great minds walk out the door because there's not really a place for them there. So I don't know, man. So many people in this fan base, the people who defend Harbaugh till death, plenty of those people in 2023 said that the Ravens should keep Mike McDonald and let Harbaugh go.
Yeah, good handful.
Those
Yeah.
people said that. So I'm not going to say, I don't know if I would say that was a mistake to let that happen, but
Yeah.
we're definitely seeing what happens when you lose a guy like that as a defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. And there's been highs since he's left as well, but this is a new low. I think it's a lot of points allowed to a team that probably should be winning each of these games, and it starts with probably a Zach Orr conversation. Mike McDonald is awesome, but through a season, I guess, with Seattle, it's not like he really made us weep about losing him. So it's not like a mean thing towards him. It's just that if Mike McDonald and the Seahawks somehow win a Super Bowl in the next 10, 12 years, then we would feel bad. But as of right now, I wouldn't feel too crazy about it,
Like Mike McDonald also doesn't have one of the best quarterbacks that the sport of football has ever seen.
Right. Like, it's about the coupling of it all. Like it's if they would have said that you kept Monken for sure with McDonald, then it's a different discussion, I guess. But man.
Comment from Carson, how do I become a member? I believe you just hit join right under the video, right, Zach?
I can look it up. Yeah,
I believe
if
there's
you're on mobile, it's a white join button. So $2.99 a month, steal of a deal. I'll say it again. Priority in Q&A. Shout out during this live if you get it done, in the next 20 minutes, or in any future one. But yeah, we appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Great opportunity to.
I still don't think this is on Lamar. The losses, he's thrown 9+ touchdowns in the past 3 games and has the most points scored in the league, but we are 1-2. Yeah, I mean, you could put some blame on Lamar last night. Like, there was maybe 3 or 4 plays where I'm like, what is he doing? But like holding on to the ball too long, all that sort of thing. He clearly wasn't trusting the offensive line, and that's because the offensive line has played terrible through the first couple of weeks. So, like, I don't know. You look at the numbers, I can't remember. There's some Instagram account that posts the quarterback numbers after every single week, and Lamar's basically number one. in every single category besides pass yards, like passer rating. I think completion percentage, he's like second or third. Passing touchdowns, he's number one. Yards per attempt, he's number one. And he's doing that with no run game and bad blocking and no defense. So,
yeah, the stat I wanted to share about this, that was one of them. So great one there, Ashton. But this stat I saw today on Rich Eisen's show, 47 quarterbacks have had a game with 140 plus passer rating. 3 have ever lost, and 2 of them are Lamar, and it's this season. It's like man, it just feels like every single stat is just this gut punch that there's nothing you can do about. Like it's about if you want to point towards the roster, if you want to point towards the coaching, there is something in the culture that is the Ravens culture that is defined by choking, losing big games. Like that is officially a part of our culture. So as much as we love someone like Harbaugh in a way that he has created this team and their mentality, that mentality is starting to bite you back. That's a different kind of a storyline to watch, I think.
Just another thing, comment from Prime Trust. Lamar is the number 1 highest pass rating of all time, which has continued to go up because his passer rating was 148 last night. So, I mean, through 3 games, he has a 141 passer rating. 158 is perfect. That's pretty insane. I think number 2, I don't know who it is, but they're at 120. So, Lamar's been insane.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into our 4th topic?
Sure.
So, with the injury of Matabike, and we don't know if he's going to be out a few more games or if he's going to be out for the year or if he's never going to play football again, to be honest, which we obviously are praying for him and hoping for the best for his, personal life and personal safety first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, the Ravens personnel is struggling right now.
Yep.
And, you know what, Zach, like, yesterday, I talked about how I'm putting some blame on EDC for the O-line, but not for the D-line. They didn't really replace Michael Pierce. So that was something I thought about. And obviously, Travis Jones hasn't played as well as we thought and hoped he would through 3 weeks. So, and I say this all the time. I try to not criticize someone for doing something that at the time I agreed with them. And this whole offseason, I wasn't concerned about the D-line. So I'm not going to criticize EDC for it. But they need someone. And so basically now we're going to talk about what guys are available, right? When trade deadline season approaches, which we have a long time to go before we get there.
Yeah.
You look at who are the bad teams, and then what players do those bad teams have that maybe have 1, maybe 2 years left on their contract, and they could be looking to trade them away to help them rebuild. Giants, Dexter Lawrence, that's a guy to look out for. He honestly might be too good to even get traded, even if they suck. Seahawks, Quinnen Williams, I believe, but the Seahawks are probably going to be in the race to make a playoffs this year. I would rule them out of it. Browns aren't going to trade any of their guys to the Ravens. Jeffrey Simmons on the Titans is an option. And then I think edge rusher, everyone's talking about interior D-line. Edge rusher would probably do just as much. I mean, the reason the run defense is so bad, or part of the reason the run defense is so bad, is because there's no pass rush. And everything circulates into each other. And the number 1 issue is the pass rush. It's not the run defense. I'll tell you guys that right now. So any edge rushers that could be available too are, options as well. Is Quinnen Williams on the Jets? Did I screw that up?
Quinnen Williams? I think he is. What did you say he was?
I said he's on the Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah, so Quinnen Williams on the Jets.
Williams, maybe?
Quinnen Williams on the Jets is another option.
Yeah, there's names out there for sure. CJ was released by the Texans.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a secondary really issue. Like they're playing as good as you can hope with no pass rush. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Like
you should be getting a few, like I think we called them last night, like secondary sacks, like where it's just like they're playing well enough to where you should get to the quarterback by now. So especially if it's Jared Goff, like it's a statue, like you had mentioned, like the preview. Like there's like there was really no good sign on that, like at all. So there's definitely names, but I'll bring it all the way back to coaching. In the last couple of years, if they had acquired some name at the deadline or at some point in the year, and that did propel them to be a better team, that feels like we'd be leaning too much on that and not just how the team was created in the offseason.
Yeah.
And the D-line, sure, had a few pieces that they added, as in a John Jenkins who played okay. Peebles who played okay. But if that's the only real answer you're going to make in the offseason to address someone that is as crucial as Michael Pierce, I'd mentioned it a few times in the offseason. That's a big deal, losing him. And it is becoming very evident. Like, Browns are a good team. The great O-line. They ran it very well against us. And last week, obviously, 200 plus. That's the backbreaker. But there's probably some talent, I'd say, on the D-line wise to help out. I would say if there's any move, it's going to be that way, as in a D-lineman. But it does feel weird to pay someone, or at least pay a ransom for a Williams or a Sexy Dexy. People are wanting him. I would say, even though he's kind of a dork, Christian Wilkins, free agency, is probably a good looking option.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind someone like that. He's plenty capable. It's just he's kind of made a weird name for himself.
Yeah, we don't.
So I don't know. I would welcome him with open arms in that regard because we need that much help. But
Yeah,
as in a weirdo, that might be what's keeping him from an NFL team. Maybe.
Comment from Ashley and Blake. What's your guys' opinion on Ravens fans saying for Ray Lewis or Ed Reed to come in to help coach the defense? I think that would be awesome. I don't think either of them would want to do that, and I don't blame either of them for not wanting to do that. They're enjoying retirement right now. Like, I just don't think that is something that either of them would want to do.
You can couple that with Pagano and how you felt about that too. I don't know if you mentioned that on the podcast.
Yeah, again, I think this is just Zach and I talking off air last night. Like, so people have talked about, does Pagano need to be promoted and Zach Orr demoted? Chuck Pagano came out of retirement to basically be a senior defensive backs coach. He's not even the defensive backs coach. It would take a lot of convincing for him to go from that to being thrust into a defensive coordinator role. Like, no one's talking about the fact that Chuck Pagano probably doesn't even want to do that. And I don't blame him at all. Like, he came back for a chill role. He missed football. He wanted to, coach defensive backs, help coach defensive backs. And that's why he's here. These guys do get convinced sometimes. Dean Pease retired, came back, retired, came back.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's definitely not going to be promoted to defensive coordinator, but that is something to think about as well. And then I guess just to stay on this train for a second, Anthony Weaver and Denard Wilson have both done pretty good jobs where they are at now. Denard Wilson in Tennessee, Anthony Weaver in Miami. Obviously, the Dolphins are kind of a dumpster fire, but when you look at what they have, their defense is playing pretty well. And it kind of hurts to know that the Ravens probably chose the third option of three in terms of
incorrectly.
What you've seen from them. So that sucks to think about as well.
Yeah, and what I will counter that with is this defense sure has a good roster. Like, if you're a DC, you'd be pretty happy to get the Ravens as your defensive group. But the way that this fan base is going after Zach Orr, I don't think you would want to step into that and be the guy like, hey, I'll shield you, Zach. I'm gonna take all the blame now, whatever happens. And I don't think that's what Chuck has signed up for. I agree with you. It comes back to that. That feels like it's too much of an ask.
Yeah.
I think that there is still a convincing argument to be made in the roster is as talented as it is, and there's players still. Like, it's not like you're getting this horrible group. But I would think that if it's maybe by the bye week, they would consider a move if we're in a really bad spot. Calling wise.
Yeah, and like another thing about making a trade or whatever, which is why I think they should just try to sign Christian Wilkins first and see what happens, is because, like,
I agree.
Let's say Madubuike is out for the year and it's not a career-ending type of thing. Do you want to trade a first-round pick away for someone that you're only going to need for one season? Like, I understand, like, next year you could have Dexter Lawrence and Nnamdi Madubuike, which,
expensive group.
Obviously that, yeah, you think about that, but like, the Ravens are really good at drafting in the first round. And it's just like, that's why when I hear people talk about like, oh, they need to go all in. Like, when you think about the Micah Parsons trade, and I was talking about last night that maybe they should have done that. It was 2 first-round picks. The Ravens' last 2 first-round picks, besides this year, Zay Flowers and Nate Wiggins. So I've talked to Zach about this. Would you trade Zay Flowers and Nate Wiggins for Micah Parsons? Hell no. So in terms of trading away 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, it's the same thing. Like, they draft really good first-round players every year. So you have to think about it like that too. Trading away a first-round pick is big. That's basically where the Ravens getting 3 or 4 years of a Pro Bowler. So because of how good they are drafting on Thursday nights every April. So that's another thing to think about. With the whole Madubuike situation, I think it's most likely either going to be he's not out for the whole year, or it's something that he's thinking about retiring. Like, it's hard for me to imagine a neck injury as a season-ending injury that's not career-ending. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know too much about medical history.
Wasn't Zach Orr's something like that?
Zach Orr, yeah, it was like his spine, back of his neck type of thing. Oof. So, like, I'm just saying,
you got to be maximum level cautious with it.
Yeah, like, you need to be careful here. And I do think it was a bit of a good sign that he was, like, on the sideline last night with the earpiece in, listening to the defensive calls. Like, if he knew for a fact that, I mean, he would probably be really down in the dumps and probably not even out there. Maybe he just has better compartmentalization skills than I do, and he just wanted to be out there and support his team no matter what. We have no idea. I should probably stop speculating. I'm really nervous about that situation, and we're probably going to get an update this week. So
you'd think
that's a lot is going to change when we learn more about the situation, Zach.
And I mean, you're nervous about that. We got a few more topics we want to get into. Introducing really, I guess, the first segment really of Charm City Sideline Podcast.
Yeah.
The panic meter. We're gonna have a few topics that have been going around, and rating them on a scale from 1 to 100 on how nervous we are. 1 being we are not nervous, and 100 being everything is burning around us. Let's like run. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, we can get into the first topic of it, maybe.
So here's our panic meter, guys.
Panic meter. That, by the way, all of these are gonna have the same panic meter. It's not like we're on a whatever this is 7 or something every single time. It's just we're gonna break that down. But yeah, Carson, big shout out for becoming a member. We appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Carson.
We'll clap there.
Okay, Zach. Thanks, Carson. We appreciate it. Let's get into the first segment for our panic meter, Zach.
Okay.
Star players.
player. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Star players for the Ravens being unable to make plays in the moment. Zach, like, I need to be able to see you to talk to you. I feel like in a lot of these situations, like late game situations, the star players don't make the play. And that's been an issue. For example, Eagles this past week blocked the field goal. Jordan Davis blocks the field goal. Like, their guys make the plays. And we're obviously excluding Lamar here because he makes a ton of plays for us. But, like, for example, the Derrick Henry fumble, like that, it's now 3 games in a row.
Yeah, the fumble bug is apparently a real deal. And John Harbaugh specifically is a guy that's usually stuffs it out. Like he is so crazy about that type of stuff. It would, I don't think Keaton Mitchell has really been that way, but it might be an argument to why someone like Keaton Mitchell is not getting the playing time he should get. But like Prime is saying in the chat here, I think Derrick Henry is going to be fine. The consensus thinks Derrick Henry is going to be fine. It's just not good that it's happening in 3 straight games, twice in the fourth quarter when it really matters. So disregarding that, you could flip it to the other side of the ball defensively. You're not getting any sacks last week. You're not getting any turnovers. There wasn't really he almost dropped the pick there. There was nothing like that. Oh, he almost got to the quarterback there. No, nothing to be heard of. So I'm going to mostly blame the defense as a defensive stars that we're paying big handfuls of money to.
Mm-hmm.
They have got to step up. There's too many big names to not be making a big play, a game-changing play at least one time. If it doesn't happen even once in the Chiefs game, we have a real problem. That is such a big game, big name team where if you hear all this noise, you better figure it out next week. It's becoming so scary. And we can kind of couple off of a super chat here from Ashton. Henry fumbling takes me to Justin Tucker again. Like, just a spiral. Appreciate the super chat.
Appreciate it.
What do you think, Brad?
Man. Yeah, last year, I mean,
spiral.
I keep forgetting about this. Like, sometimes, guys, for fun, I go back and watch our past podcasts after we lose just to get a kick out of myself. Every single loss last year, we were talking about Justin Tucker. Like, that was a big thing. And he was an issue last year. So far this year, Derrick Henry fumbling in late game situations has been an issue. And Zach, where I am more concerned, which you touched on, the defense. Like, our guy Jonas in our Ravens group chat last night, late in the game, said no one on the defense has made a play tonight. And we exaggerate a lot in that group chat, guys. That was
sarcasm, a lot of sarcasm.
That was a true statement.
Yeah.
No one made a play last night on defense. No one. So that just sucks to think about. Like, Kyle Hamilton wasn't good last night. And we talked about how him making $25 million is a steal. It is a steal. He didn't come up big last night. Matabike is a star. He wasn't playing. Roquan didn't come up big last night. Marlon Humphrey didn't come up big last night. I mean, obviously the chase down was awesome, but it doesn't matter when the Lions end up scoring a touchdown anyway. So let's go back to this, Zach. 1 to 100. Where would you say this is at for you?
Henry, I'm going to be like a 85. I feel pretty good about that. But if we're talking overall, including the defense, I'm sorry. Opposite. I mean 15.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
15.
I'm so sorry. Gosh, panic meter's making me panic. Defensively, I'm going to say that is probably the opposite. It's an 85. You have to look in the mirror. If it's not the defensive play calling, if big top level critics aren't saying that it's the defensive play calling in some way, then it might be the players. So one of them's got to make a big play to me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm about a 25-30 on Derrick Henry, a little bit higher than you. It is concerning that he's now fumbled in a late game situation 2 times this year and 3 fumbles in 3 games. So I'm a bit higher than you there. In terms of the defense, I would say 85-90. again, like pretty similar to you. I mean, we just have not seen big plays made from the stars on this defense. So,
Yeah.
do you want to get into
The next one?
the next topic?
Mm-hmm.
So, our next panic meter segment, guys, is going to be Zach Orr and the defensive play calling. We'll start with you, Zach. How do you feel about this whole situation?
I'll summarize it from one, call it an overreaction if you'd like. From one tweet I saw, if we're getting comparisons to Joe Burrow and the Bengals last year, something's like dramatic changes have to take place. I can't do that. It's going to be a high number on the panic scale. It's just, man, you would think that I talked about it before week 1. Most defensive coordinators, especially when they have a roster on paper as good as ours is, when they take that second year jump and the players have a whole year under their belt and a whole offseason under their belt of fully knowing every defensive call that you can think of, everyone's going to be on the same page. The things that happened last year where the deep ball was just catastrophic and now it's turned into the opposite where the short and medium kind of plays are now like, why are we letting up these not even chunk yardage? It's just these little chunks and it's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah.
So both are hard to watch. So it's going to be pretty high for me. A lot of people in the group in the chat right now, Prime Trust 70 to 100 or 70 out of 100. Nate with 150 out of 100 and Ashley with an 89 out of 100. I'm going to say pretty high. I'm going to go, how many really specific? I'm going to go 78.
I like what you said there. In terms of Zach Orr and the defense situation as a whole, I'd probably go. Are we including the Matabike and Van Noy injuries? Like, if Matabike injury question is being included into this, I'm at about 100.
Oh.
Like
the thought of him missing 8 weeks randomly here. That kind of thing? Or
I'm
you're
okay
saying
with Matabike missing 8 weeks. I'm concerned about what we're all concerned about.
I don't think it's going to be anything more than something like that.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. If he's on the sideline, I feel like it's a little more light than
I do agree. But then you hear Troy Aikman say how concerned the Ravens are about this injury halfway through the game. So,
yeah,
that's what concerns me. I'm going to say 98. Factoring in the Matabike injury, if Matabike is out for the year, they're cooked. They're cooked.
Wow.
So
I'm giving it a little hope that they can turn around, but man, it's rough.
If you were to tell me Matabike is
not a lot of room.
Yeah, if you were to tell me Matabike returns early December, I'd probably go down to a 70, 75, maybe 80 on my panic meter for defense, just because knowing that he's here for the playoffs. Before we get into our next panic meter topic, Zach, Carson, with the comment, we did not talk about.
We haven't talked about this. It was a very quick mention at the end of the post game reaction, but maybe if even that might have been after the pod conversation. I don't remember. But did y'all already talk about the play with Henry being quarterback? Well, you've not. That was such a. That felt like that was like we were honestly due for some kind of trickery, to be honest. 3 weeks in, you would have thought they would have done something like that. But the Derrick Henry making a pass play is not something I was expecting. Lamar seemed a little frustrated with him that there apparently was an option to throw it back to Lamar on the other side of the field. I don't know how well that would have turned out. I mean, overall, just another real squander, I guess, of a trick play from the Ravens that just seemed to never really turn out, I guess.
I also think Lamar was just mad at him for throwing the pass. Like, there was no reason to throw
Almost
that.
was a pick. Yeah.
I think there was a tweet from Benjamin Solak right after the Derrick Henry pass, where he was like doing that after not scoring earlier in the red zone is just blasphemy. Like, just run the ball with Derrick Henry. When the Ravens were stopped 4 plays in a row, Zach, at the 1 earlier in the game, in our Ravens group chat, I said, run the ball with Derrick Henry 4 times. If you don't get it, I won't be mad. Guess what they did? They ran it with Derrick Henry 3 times and then ran a play action pass and got all the way back to the 18-yard line. Do it one more time. Like,
yeah.
I think second down is a great play to run play action on and goal situations. I think third down's a bit too risky and fourth down is even riskier. I think second down is a great spot to do that. So yeah, just wanted to, that was a good comment, Carson.
Hey, yeah, Carson's saying it's off topic. Never would have thought they'd see that. Like, Henry literally did us dirty, back in the playoffs. What was it, 2019 maybe?
Yeah, with the jump pass.
That little stupid
jump pass is
fine.
Don't do it from 20 yards out.
Completely agree. 100%. Totally understand.
Cover 2 federal.
Oh no, go for it.
They got the lines with the hard count. Was it twice?
They did. Yeah. I was impressed by it.
I do want to see that more. Good comment there.
Nate flexing their exclusive. Maybe we get a little Charm City.
We actually should. We had a comment last night saying we should get a group chat going with you guys. If you guys would be down,
let's do it.
We should make one. But Zach and I, neither of us are the admin of that group chat anyway, so it is out of our control. Actually, the admin of that group chat was supposed to join us tonight for an episode, and he had too much homework. So,
hey, comment saying do it. Let's freaking do it. Let's figure it out. Okay.
Oh, that was Nate. That was Nate who proposed.
Shout out, Nate. Okay. Next panic meter segment. There was a little video going around on social media. Millions of views. Little. That we don't actually have the video, sadly. We should have done that. But Lamar and Henry a little frustrated with each other as they kind of, it doesn't really look like it, but almost blow each other and walk the opposite ways, opposite directions. And Henry is shaking his head no, walking away. It's alarming. I think we were just really mad from that all happening. Prime with a 0. Ashton with the 55, Rod with the 80.
Oh, we're going up.
There is... See, I'm going to take it a little closer to the 55 range. I don't like how we've never seen any remote look of butting of the heads from those two. Really, of
that is true.
Lamar and anyone. So if it was a butting of the heads, if it was just, caught up in we're competitors, really great players, we're just mad that we couldn't get it done tonight, whatever. We'll retweet it on our Twitter account. You guys should go follow that. We'll find it and get it for you guys. But I get a little more panicked about it, seeing that I've never seen something like this before out of Lamar, out of a Henry. When I talked about earlier, where those two took accountability fully for those games, where Henry's like, I got to be better for Flock Nation. That's about as real of a comment as you could get. Lamar saying what he usually says, that I can be better and the team can learn, blah, 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 blah. I don't like that there was still this little butting of the heads before it given. There's no record of it before.
For me, I'm not so much concerned about what I saw as the interaction between them, because it seemed pretty normal to me, just two guys who are frustrated. I think you could make a case that you could be more concerned about how Derrick Henry reacted to his own fumble. Like,
he was pissed.
Not too much composure there.
Okay, I just retweeted it on the Charm City Sideline Twitter. You guys should go
look at it after we go live.
That's true. That's true. Don't leave yet.
I'm not really concerned about the Lamar Derrick Henry interaction. I don't know if I'd say concerned, but it's something to monitor the way Derrick Henry reacted to his own fumble, like completely crashed out on the sideline. You don't want to see that. So that's just something to think about for me. But panic meter here, I'll probably say about a 10 out of 100. I
Wow.
mainly agree with Prime Trust. there
Weathering
on
the
that one.
storm. Wow. I'll
Real
go like,
quick,
I don't know. I'll end it with like a 45. I just don't
Okay.
like 40. I'll stay with 40.
real quick about the group chat guys. I don't know how we're gonna do this, Zach, but just make sure you're following Charm City Sideline on Instagram, and we'll
For
post about
sure.
it. We'll post about it on the story or something
Mhm.
like that. Just make sure you're following Charm City Sideline.
Or either
on
one of
Inst-
us will be sure to repost it too.
I think
For
it's
sure.
at Charm City Pod, right? Is our Instagram.
I believe so.
So,
Charm City
yeah.
Sideline. We don't even know our Instagram handle.
So at Charm City Sideline on
Charm City
Instagram.
Sideline.
Guys.
Yes.
Just make sure you're following that. We'll post about the group chat on our story. Okay. Final section on our new panic meter segment.
Final
Zach.
one.
Ravens.
Oh,
Gotta go to Arrowhead. Week 4. 2 absolutely desperate teams facing off against each other. How do you feel about this, Zach?
not great. I don't like seeing a 1-2 team across the field and it's someone as good as Patrick Mahomes. I don't like that at all. Varying opinions here, 8 out of 100, 60, 90, 0, because we will lose. I mean, wow. It's varying for this question because some people are high on the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football sure didn't convince me that they're anything to really worry about. But again, it's at Arrowhead. Lamar is 1-5 against Mahomes. There's stats to prove that we're not going to win this game. There were stats to prove that we were going to blow out the Lions yesterday. But man, I don't like the idea of a really angry Mahomes when our team is going on social media right after the game saying, guys, let's go on to tomorrow, or there's always next week. I think we got to have some truly exceptional performances and seeing a real right of the ship, a turning of the table as in a team against the Chiefs. My panic would probably be at a 83.
83.
It's high.
Listen, out of every game on the schedule this year when the schedule release came out, all 17, this was the game I felt the least confident in.
Oof.
The Ravens have already lost 2 games. I don't feel that confident in this game, guys. Like, I just don't. And if we didn't know anything about the Chiefs and woke up from a coma and watched them this year, we wouldn't be talking about this like that in this fashion.
Yes.
But just knowing the Ravens' history against Patrick Mahomes, and like Zach said, 1-5, I believe, Lamar versus Mahomes doesn't look great. It's funny, I have a good friend who's a Chiefs fan. I sent him earlier today the Battle of Mid, 1-2 teams facing off against each other.
Oh, come on.
Obviously, it's referencing the Battle of Midway back in the day.
Obviously. What?
So I just don't feel good about it. And like, I will say, Zach, I feel better about this game than if the Ravens would have beat the Lions. Obviously, I would have rather the Ravens beat the Lions because they'd be 2-1 instead of 1-2. But just something about Harbaugh and the Ravens when their back is against the wall, they usually find a way to win.
Yeah.
The issue is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes also have their back against the wall. They're not 2-1. They're not 3-0. So both teams are in the same situation here. I'm going to go 65-70 here, which is basically, that does mean I think there's a higher chance the Ravens lose this game. But the reason it's not 90 or higher is because the Chiefs look terrible right now. As a football team, they look bad. And I do think the Ravens are a better football team right now. But can they go to Kansas City and beat them? We don't know.
Rod Wave really on the other side from us right now in the chat. And we know how supporting Rod is usually during the season.
Mhm.
44-22 final score prediction is a little crazy. I think Rod might be a level 1,000 about it, but I don't know. I don't think there's a way that you can be under like 50 about this.
Yeah.
It's still the Chiefs. It's still the Ravens of the early season where they can't get the real job done. You're going to have to see a full turnaround from the offensive line. You're going to have to see more effort if you don't have Matt Abike. There's a lot of potential for optimism, but if it's a lot like last week, and if you just came from the Ravens collective, that talked to Mitchell Schwartz about how the run game for the Chiefs is non-existent. Like, I'm personally a big fan of Pacheco, but those two, with that O-line and how it's performing right now, there's no excuses why the Ravens shouldn't hold them to under 120 rushing yards max and get to Mahomes at least twice. So that can be a little hint towards how the preview will go later this week. But wow, that is easily the lowest floor of the panic meter so far, for sure.
Yeah, man, they got to win, but so do the Chiefs. So they're in the same situation here. So, Nate, I drafted Pacheco too. I went 0 RB in my fantasy draft. I ended up with Breece Hall, Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, and Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh,
it's not looking good, but my receivers are awesome because of going 0 RB. So I still am having a good year. I'm 2-1. So we're looking good. But anyway, any final thoughts, Zach?
Final thoughts. I'm not in the same league as you, but I am 3-0 in fantasy. Feeling good. Honestly, I really need next Sunday to happen. I want a real look. What they were talking about the Lions as a measuring stick game. This is ours. This is the last one we're gonna get. Possibly all year, maybe the Packers.
We got the Rams.
Maybe Rams are good. Rams always put up a good fight against us, but that's not going to show us what we're going to go through if we're going to make the playoffs. So if you can't do it against the Bills, can you do it against the Chiefs? And how, no offense, weak they've looked so far through 3 games. So, man, I don't think we should answer this. Should we answer this? We should leave this for the preview, right?
Well,
it's a great question, bro.
I am going to be out of town this weekend, guys, so I will not be able to do the preview with Zach. So just real quick, I'll get to this, and we'll let Zach hold his thoughts over the preview.
Sure.
I wouldn't feel like amazing. It's exactly what we talked about. Win and survive. You feel okay. If they lose, the sky's falling. It's just how it feels right now. So that's how I'd feel coming out of this Chiefs game. Super chat from Rod Wave as we're closing out here. Appreciate you. Wave. We cannot talk down about KC. Mahomes has been running. Yeah, Mahomes has been running a lot. And our linebackers are slow until we have new coaching. This team will never get over the hump. We'll get Brian Flores. That is a name that I would be talking about, late January, February.
I would like that.
Jesse Minter, another one I'll throw out there. Yeah, appreciate the super chat, Rod Wave. It's true. I mean, we talked about it. Ravens are 1-5 against Mahomes. That's pretty bad. So that's about what the Bengals are against. Actually, no, because the Bengals are 10. The Bengals are 1-10 against Lamar.
Yep.
So still not as bad as that, but you're getting close. So appreciate the super chat, Rod Wave.
And Rod, I will tell you, I mean, the Chiefs are looking bad right now because they don't have the offensive line play that they are hoping for. They don't have the weapons to help Mahomes out literally at all. They'll probably get Worthy back, like we mentioned, but I don't know. I think that they're really down on their luck, if just as much as us, if not worse than us. Like they are having a real tough time schematically that we might be able to take advantage of, because boy, that would be a big one. AW, great comment here. 4-2 at the bye and do some soul searching. I would be pleasantly surprised with
Yeah.
4-2. I'm expecting 3-3. If it's a loss here to the Chiefs, or if it's a loss to a tough Rams opponent, maybe even a little Texans upset. They'd play teams really close.
Yeah.
These next 3 are going to be the measuring sticks for the Ravens. I
For
mean,
sure.
we know the rest of the year they can bring it. Brad mentioned it last night that we got a really
Cupcake schedule after the bye.
I wasn't going to say cupcake, but I mean, it's a favorable schedule. It's definitely not a cupcake. So, I think this one these next 3 are as important as the first 3 for sure.
Exactly. That's probably going to be all for us tonight. We appreciate you guys super active in the chat tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and do some shout outs real quick. Ashton and Lauren, who just popped in here, Rod Wave, Nate, Two Federal, Prime Trust. Prime Trust was here for our very first live stream ever.
Shout out, Prime.
We'll always try to mention that. Martavius was in here. Carson Tipton, appreciate you for becoming a member tonight. Bruh, as always. And Don Royal, Terrence, appreciate you guys. We will see you guys next time. Hopefully the Ravens get this win against the Chiefs next weekend. And
next up's the preview. Hopefully you'll join us then.
Chiefs preview later this week.
Yeah.
See you guys then. Peace.
Peace.